My 7-year-old foster son could care less about baseball, but he likes the Dippin' Dots.
Yep,
And
that's my favorite.
right, and the rock wall.
Yeah.
Great. I'll just watch the game eventually.
After you're done checking Twitter and Instagram. And
Yeah, or trying to make sure my kid's not dying.
Right. No, that's a fair one. You
Yeah.
should probably do that first.
Some days.
So you mentioned foster kid, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been a part of this foster system?
A year.
A year. What made you want to do that?
So, oddly enough, Relevant's not the church I intended to plant, but God keeps bringing people into our lives that, and oddly enough, they're foster parents.
Really?
So we're like a group of 30, but we've got like 4 different foster families.
Interesting.
Yeah. And last November, we were having a potluck, and one of the foster parents mentioned that their kids, their foster children, were being placed up for adoption.
Wow.
And they were going to pass. And I was like, it just wasn't a good fit for them. I get that now. But my wife and I, we just kind of fell in love with these 2 little girls. And we're like, well, you know what? We can't have children naturally. And a private adoption.
Is that hard for you? Naturally.
Natural. At first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just something that I've had to come to accept over the last couple of years.
Okay.
But I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is not a face that needs to be passed down another generation. Oh, thanks for the bald spot, Dad. But no, these 2 little girls were going to be up for adoption, and it's like, well, like we can't afford private, we can't have kids naturally. Why don't we give this a shot? And so we kind of rushed into getting our training done and getting our house ready. And ultimately, those weren't the kids for us, but I think it prepared the soil, so to speak, for our hearts, and kind of tended to a few things that needed to be challenged in our marriage. So yeah, and then we got our first placement, our current placement, back in July.
And you've had them all through July, since July through now. And has that been like challenging at all? I mean, because I would imagine going from no kids at all, and then now you have, what is it, 2-year-old and a 9-year-old?
2-year-old and 7-year-old.
7-year-old.
Yeah. It is awful. Awfully good.
Yeah.
No, it's challenging.
Yeah. But I would imagine with every challenge that you have your highs and then you have your
Absolutely.
lows.
Like, I was trying to watch the AFC game on Sunday night, and the 2-year-old just was sitting on my lap as I'm trying to, like, hey bud, I've been up since 5 a.m. and I'm a little tired, but he just really wants to sit on my chest.
Not on your knee.
Not on my knee, not my stomach.
Not next to you,
just right there. Yeah, you are adorable, and I love you. And I thank God every night that I have the privilege and honor to keep them safe and to love them, and even if we have them for a short period of time, to share the gospel with them.
Yeah. What would be one of the hardest things that you've had to learn through the process, whether it's during the training or having the 2 kids, or, I mean, you're pretty used to getting up early, so that's not
my wife's not, so
that's fair.
a little trade-off there. Twofold. One, these children are coming damaged, just from what they've experienced in their lives so far, like just briefly, and trying to be sensitive of that and patient with their needs on a psychological level. But secondly, and this is I think where we're at in our walk over the last 6 months, that nothing's guaranteed. So like the birth parents will still have that kind of respect and have that admiration because they're their mom and dad, or as the 7-year-old says, real mom and dad.
That's gotta be a hit.
Right, yeah. Like, well, they can be your real mom and dad when they start doing some real parenting.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cheap shot.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be a crummy thing to say, but it's the truth. But like as I'm rocking the 2-year-old to sleep, knowing that, you know what, he could leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he calls me daddy.
Uh-huh.
But at some point he may have to leave our home and I'll never see him again.
Mm-hmm. So that probably makes you value the time.
Yeah.
That much more.
But I know that day might be coming.
Yeah.
And then like I'm just gonna ugly cry for like a week.
Oh, you're a crier.
I'm like, oh, I was choking up at the end of Aladdin this
Are you
afternoon.
serious?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like, Genie, you're free.
Just lose
Kids, don't look over there.
Done.
Yeah.
Dude, that's rad.
I don't care unless I got you. Say, baby, I love you. Tell me this.